the businesses in our town have actually weathered it a lot better than others. And I think because of the products that they're selling, the commitment of local people and the regional markets that they have, and then the collaboration with each other has been really important. So I'm going to tell you about a few of these folks and a little bit about the collaboration, and then get into a few other topics, and then hear some feedback from you guys and questions that you might have. 3 years ago, a bunch of us realized that there was so much going on in our area that if we didn't start getting together on a regular basis, we were going to reinvent the wheel even just like 5 miles away from each other. And this really struck home to me when I was talking with a friend of mine about the new commercial kitchen that he was putting in. He was spending about $100 grand on his farm to put in an inspected commercial kitchen, so when he had excess tomatoes, he could can them. When he had excess produce of all other sorts, he could can them. He could freeze them. He could process them in some way for his customers later on, rather than compost them, rather than sell them at a loss or at cost or at much less than he otherwise would have. And he didn't know about 2 other commercial kitchens that were getting put in place on organic farms within 5 miles. And so we all of a sudden realized, and they were also investing $100,000 to do this. You know how busy we all are. Even when you're close by, you don't know. And so we realized that reinventing the wheel was one problem that would happen if we didn't know what each other were doing. And this was happening at lightning speed. So these are businesses that, farms and businesses that are generally growing at 50 to 80% a year. And can you hear me again? So what happened then was this additional concern that was even more than the issue of reinventing the wheel, and it was this concern that the only way we were going to make this work, and make this work on a full scale, big scale, economically viable, and really model for other places as well, was if we collaborated. And the missed opportunities to collaborate was what we felt was the biggest risk of not working together. And so for once a month now, for 3 years, we've been getting together. And there's about 25 of us business owners, agricultural business owners in the immediate several town region. And we get together, we have a potluck, we visit one of each other's places, and we have a topic discussion around a certain issue, whatever it might be, different topics. Out of that came this nonprofit, the Center for an Agricultural Economy. So that group of businesses said, there is too much going on for us to keep track of. School systems doing cool things, other nonprofits starting up and doing cool things, new businesses getting incubated, community groups doing things, all the other groups around Vermont that are interacting with our region, even if they're not based right there. And we said, we got to start an organization whose sole purpose is to convene all of that stuff, to make sure that we are aware of what's going on with each other, and also to do some of the research and education and outreach that we know needs to be done. As businesses, we can only spend so much time doing that, and only afford to spend so much time doing it. So the Center for an Agricultural Economy was born, and then we started to get a lot of attention. And I think it's because, I'm not entirely sure, I'd love to hear if any thoughts you guys have, but I think one of the reasons why we've got a lot of attention is that this broken food system is really darn complex, and the solutions to it are going to be, challenging, complex solutions as well. There's plenty of really elegant, simple solutions out there, but it's a complex thing we're talking about. Especially if you're looking at energy issues, transportation issues, school issues, political issues, obesity and health issues, all that, not just preserving acreage that won't get developed or beginning step kind of issues. And so because it's so complicated, there's not a lot of spots in the US or Canada that actually have as many pieces of their food system getting built and healthy and renewed again like we happen to. And that has been of interest to people to study or to come report on. And so this New York Times article was written by a woman, Mary Burroughs, who's had a little summer house in 2 towns away from Harvard for 14 years. And she has tried to convince her editor, the New York Times, for her to do a story about anything up in that area at all for 14 years. And her editor said, not interesting enough, not interesting enough, not good enough, nobody cares. And for a while, just again and again, nothing. And then finally she said to her editor, okay, I got it now though. Check this out. Here's how what is happening in this small town really matters to this small town and can serve as inspiration for other places. And so this article, Uniting Around Food to Save an Ailing Town, came out a year ago on Wednesday. Since then, Gourmet Magazine has said we're the most important food town in America. Eating Well Magazine, a big spread there. Lots of Vermont publications, National Public Radio, CBC, 2 stories in CBC, PBS, and then most recently Chef Emeril Lagasse for 2 weeks with a huge camera crew and Dan Rather. So, I've got seed packets to fill. I've got crops to harvest. My buddies have cheese to make. There's tofu that needs to get pressed and drained and whatever you do to make tofu. So all these camera crews and people in town are saying, I shaved this word just in case there was a camera crew coming through. I never know now. And I don't know, it's been really interesting, I guess. It's been not without its bumps, for sure. There's some people that are worried now that lots of folks are going to move up to Harvard. But there's still not that many jobs. And it's a poor area. There's not a whole lot there. This healthy food system work and successes are not happening right outside a big wealthy city with millions getting pumped in from folks with second homes there or that kind of thing. The per capita income in Hardwick is $14,000. Household income is $40,000. And 62% of the children qualify for the school lunch program, which is a poverty level qualification, 62%. So these businesses, these jobs, this stimulating economic activity and excitement are new enough that it's beginning to spread out to other things and have this broader effect. But there's a lot of work to do, for sure. There's a whole lot of work to do. I'm going to go through a few stories of some of these people kind of quickly here, focusing on a few examples that they each show particularly well. And then I'm going to take a little break and get your questions on that topic. And I'm going to tell you a few more stories on some other ventures that illustrate another topic well and get your thoughts on them. So the game plan is we're going to do that for a little bit now, so back and forth. And then at about 8:30 or so, we'll break. And we've got some easels and tables back there. And some of the things that you guys ask me questions about, you may pose as a broader question to everybody that then from 8:30 to 9 can get captured up there. Perhaps what you need to do here. What do you think you need to do here on this topic or that topic? The first thing I want to tell you about is the financial side, the money. We need to fund this new food system in a completely different way than we funded the broken food system, or else we're going to get the same stuff again. The same thing where Coca-Cola buys up the cool little juice companies out there, where Kellogg starts buying up cool little cereal companies or crackers or other kinds of things.